Radio check, loud and clear. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We are 30 minutes away from the start of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We've got 3,000 people already tuned in. That is absolutely fantastic. We've got the drivers making their way towards the starting grid. The pit lane exit has just closed. All 20 drivers make their way towards the starting grid. And just got Norris and Albon left, and everyone else is already parked up at their grid position. Okie dokes. So we have had a very, very exciting qualifying session yesterday, and today's race is going to be even better. Max Verstappen starting from pole position, Oscar Piastri in second place, and George Russell in third. Leclerc in fourth. 4 different constructors in the top 4 positions. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic Grand Prix. Alright, I shall run through some of the strategy very, very soon. And let me know what your predictions are firstly. Do you think we're going to see safety cars? Do you think we're going to see red flags? Do you think we're going to see a rookie crash? Do you think we're going to see a Stroll crash? Who do you think it's going to be? And what are your predictions? But we've got a lot of interesting statistics to go through before we get underway for the race. I'm watching the 6 Hours of Imola right now. It's almost over. Yeah, we're having WEC as well. WEC is going on at this moment in time. And it's looking pretty good. We'll be racing in Imola, of course, in around about 1 month's time. Before that, we have got the Miami Grand Prix. Alright, so we have got 50 laps of racing around this circuit. This circuit, of course, 6.1 kilometers long. I shall take you through a lap of this circuit right now, in fact, show you what the circuit's all about, and then we'll get underway for the rest of the coverage very, very soon. Okay, so here we go then. As the drivers go towards the final corner, this is where you want to get a really, really good exit. There is a DRS zone here, and the DRS zone is super duper long. You've got a very long straight. Overtaking to turn number 1 is prime overtaking opportunity. So you're slipstreaming, tucked right in. You can pull to the left-hand side to get an overtake done, but that's the key overtaking spot of the circuit. Then you make your way through turn number 3 towards turn number 4. This is where we saw Lando Norris crash. He missed the apex a little bit, drifted wide over the curb and into the wall during qualifying. And then you go through the rest of these high-speed corners. We watched some of the replays and the telemetries. Verstappen was flat through some of these corners. Piastri was lifting ever so slightly, and that's what made up the fine margin that Max Verstappen got pole with. Then you go into this corner. Piastri had the little edge in this corner. The McLarens are slightly quicker in the medium speed, and Piastri was a little bit later on the brakes and got the same exit as Verstappen. Then you go through turn number 16. We've now got DRS going through this part of the circuit, so it just helps the drivers stay close to the driver ahead of them, and DRS will get enabled on the second lap of this race. And we're probably going to have some DRS trains going on. We'll wait and see who will break the DRS train. Will it be Max Verstappen running away with it, or will Piastri send one down the inside? We'll just have to wait and see. But of course, this is the final DRS zone of the lap. We saw loads of battles here back in 2021 between Max and Hamilton, and I think we're going to see the same thing, but this time Max and Piastri. Then you go into the final corner, of course, a hairpin. Great overtaking opportunity, but ideally you want to set up an overtake going back into turn number 1. That is a lap of the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix circuit, and I shall run through a couple more statistics here. First thing is that the predicted strategy by Pirelli, it is very, very borderline. It's either going to be a one-stop, but it's going to be a very, very difficult one-stop, or it's going to be a two-stop race. That is obviously the 2 options for today, unless, of course, there's a safety car and we get something mind-blowing like 3 pit stops, but most likely it's going to be a 2 pit stop race. The first strategy being starting the race on the medium tyres, then pitting after lap number 16. So you've done a minimum of 16 laps on the medium tyres, then pitting onto the hard tyres. That is the first strategy. The second strategy, start the race on the mediums, then go on to, and then pit around lap number 10. And if you can pit at lap number 10, then you go on to 2 sets of hard tyres. You do your first stint, you do your second stint on hards, and your third stint as well. You pit around lap number 30 for your second pit stop. So those are the 2 strategies strategies. Of course, you can do the reverse strategy, start on the hards, go into the mediums at the end. But yeah, lots of different opportunities here. Track temperature is up at 39 degrees, so slightly warmer than what we saw at qualifying yesterday, which could obviously result in higher tyre wear, and higher tyre wear, as we know, leads to more pit stops. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Of course, even if it is a one-stop race, then I have a feeling that if a safety car comes out, it's very easily going to switch over to a two-stop. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Okay, so well, let's talk about qualifying yesterday. Of course, we had that absolutely sensational lap from Max Verstappen. However, I mean, it was a mega lap. I do have to give Max full credit for that. But there is one thing that, you know, I mentioned on the broadcast coverage yesterday, but I didn't fully acknowledge. Yuki Tsunoda gave Max Verstappen a tow, a huge tow going down the main straight. Max Verstappen was fastest through the first sector, Russell was fastest through the second sector, and Piastri was fastest through the third sector. Those were the sector splits between the drivers, and Verstappen purple in the first sector. He did get a bit of a tow off his teammate, and honestly, I think if Russell had got a tow off Antonelli, of course, made it through into Q3. If he had got a tow, then maybe we would have been talking about George Russell on pole position here, because Max Verstappen definitely gained at least a tenth of a second from that tow. And if George Russell had Antonelli giving him a tow, then who knows what could have happened then. So, yeah. That is, of course, the advantage of having a clear number two driver. I think Antonelli is also a clear number two driver, but they're not sort of compromising him, at least at this moment in time. You know, we saw last year when Norris was potentially in a title battle with Verstappen, then they would sacrifice Piastri on a couple of occasions to give Lando Norris some points. And, you know, in the end, they decided to, you know, pay him back for those position switches. But sooner or later, if Russell wants to be in the championship battle, I think what Mercedes need, they need a one solid upgrade package that works really well. And then they also sometimes need to start compromising Antonelli a little bit to push George Russell ahead and then potentially start competing in the championship. I think Antonelli, you know, it's his rookie season. Even if he is compromised a little bit, it's not, you know, the first thing to do in your rookie season is learn the sport, learn the cars, be able to understand everything and find your feet in Formula One. It doesn't matter if you have to give a position away to your teammates in your first season. You're not fighting for the championship anyway. George Russell does have a chance, maybe not for first place in the championship, but definitely for second. So I think Mercedes should maybe think about doing that in the next couple of races. Okay, some other things. What are your thoughts on Hamilton? Well, Hamilton had a very, very interesting interview at the end of qualifying yesterday. I think one of the Autosport journalists asked him, "What is it going to take for you to be quick in that Ferrari?" And he said that I'm going to need a brain transplant. That's what he said. So Hamilton, no confidence whatsoever. This is the second time now that he has been out-qualified by Carlos Sainz, who is the driver he replaced at Ferrari. Sainz is in the Williams, Hamilton is in the Ferrari, and still, 2 times in a row now, Sainz has out-qualified Hamilton. So firstly, mega props to Carlos Sainz. He's been doing a sensational job. And secondly, Hamilton has got to find this pace somewhere. I have no idea where he's going to find it from, but things are just not going his way. And he seems rather demotivated, if I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. Okay, and let's go a little bit further down the grid. Of course, we've got Lando Norris starting in 10th position. There's been so much talk about Lando Norris. Is he able to sustain the pressure? Is he able to handle the pressure that comes with the championship battle? Are mistakes going to start to creep in? We don't know, but of course, what we saw the last time Lando Norris crashed in qualifying was 2021 Belgium. That was when it was raining in quali, and they didn't red flag the session early enough, I think, and that's when he crashed. That was the last time Lando Norris crashed in qualifying, and well, apart from yesterday, of course. So, yeah, the last time he crashed in qualifying was in wet conditions when it probably should have been red flagged, and this time it seems like it was just because of the pressure. He missed his apex at turn number 4, drifted over the curb, was carrying way too much speed, got on the throttle and spun out. So, yeah, not ideal there for Lando Norris, and we'll see if he'll be able to recover. Of course, the McLaren, we know, isn't the greatest car in dirty air. It hasn't got the best straight line speed. However, you know, there are 3 DRS zones around this circuit, so I have a feeling that Norris will still be able to make some solid progress up the pack. Jamlock 8850, thank you for the donation, $6, big up from Germany. That is incredible. Thank you very much for the donation, buddy. Hope you enjoy the coverage. Hope everyone's enjoying the coverage. We've got 6,000 people tuned into the live stream. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. We're going to have 50 laps of racing around here in Saudi Arabia at the Jeddah Street Circuit, and we'll be getting underway in 20 minutes time. All right. F1 Gamer, any strategy that you can give me that will get a podium today? Well, we'll see what Tsunoda can do. Tsunoda starting in 8th position, and he's going after, well, get ahead of Hamilton, Sainz, Antonelli, Leclerc, and Russell if he wants to get up onto the podium. That's a big overtaking list. Tsunoda, of course, yesterday he was 9/10 back from Max Verstappen. However, he made one mistake at one corner, right? It was 0.6 of a second slower. I think he made a mistake at turn number 4, the corner where Lando Norris crashed. He lost 0.6 of a second just in that sector because of that mistake. So if he hadn't made that, he would have been much further up the pack, potentially in 5th position and 6th position, able to compete and potentially get a podium. So Tsunoda does have the pace. He was frustrated, the cars being a bit unpredictable. And as we saw in Japan, in yesterday's qualifying, when the Red Bull is in the correct window, it is competitive, and Max Verstappen can compete for pole position, and Tsunoda can even get close as well. However, when it isn't, in Bahrain, when the car looked like an absolute tractor, then, the car is just absolutely nowhere. So there's a very small operating margin for that Red Bull, and if you can hit it, then sure, you could compete for 1st position. If you can't, then, you're going to be down in 8th, 9th, 10th position. All right, who else have we got to talk about here? We've got Pierre Gasly, another brilliant qualifying from him. He's going to be starting in 9th place, and yeah, he's doing fantastically in that Alpine. As of late, they've started progressing their way through the pack. Another thing I would like to mention here, Aston Martin is the only team, if you compare their qualifying lap time from last year to this year, Aston Martin is the only team that has got slower. All of the other teams have made huge leaps and bounds of improvement. Alpine have made the biggest improvement, and I think Red Bull have made the smallest improvement, but nonetheless, Aston Martin is the only team that has gone backwards. So I really don't know what's going on at Aston Martin, but their car has got slower. They've done a whole year of development work. Their engineers have worked round the clock trying to make things quicker, and the car's got slower overall. So I don't know what's going on there. Thank you, Rui Miguel. And it also doesn't bode well for 2026. Okay, so what have we seen in the past couple of races? At the end of last season and past couple of races this season, we've seen Williams have made a huge resurgence up the pack, and that is of course a very good thing for 2026. So you might say, oh, it's a completely different set of regulations, so that doesn't mean that because they're good this year they're going to be good next year. But the key thing here is upwards momentum. It's not so much the fact that Williams are at the top or they're at the bottom, it's the fact that they've got upward momentum and their car is improving. And what that indicates is Williams have got a very good matchup between their CFD models and all the simulations that they're running and the wind tunnel and also real life. So they plan an upgrade in CFD, they test it out in the wind tunnel, and then they bolt it onto the car and it works. So that suggests in 2026 that Williams can design a car and it's actually going to work, whereas Aston Martin, they're going in the wrong direction. Their car's getting slower, their CFD isn't working, their wind tunnel isn't working. So even though they've got Adrian Newey for 2026, Adrian Newey can design a fantastic car, but if the CFD is telling you the wrong things, then is it going to be the fastest car on the grid, or is it going to be another midfield car? We have no way of knowing, and we'll only find out next year. But Aston Martin have got some issues to sort out. F1 Gamer, what's the best strategy? 48 laps, so it's a one-stopper. Well, it's a 50-lap race around here, and the best strategy is very marginal between a one-stop or a two-stop. So if the drivers start pitting, if the medium runners, the drivers that start the race on the medium tyres, start pitting after lap number 16, then it's probably going to be a one-stop unless a safety car comes out. If they pit before lap number 16, then it's most likely going to be a two-stop race. Okay. All right. The other thing that I do want to mention here, I am sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Just got to mention that to you guys. If you guys do want to watch the entire Formula One coverage for only $2 a month, rather than the $20 or the $30 that you have to pay normally with Sky Sports or whatever, then there's a link in the description. There's a link in the pinned chat comment. All you've got to do is click the link, get Surfshark VPN, and join an Austrian server and search ORF. That's O for Oscar, R for Race, F for Ferrari, and make an account, and you can watch Formula One. It'll be German commentary, so you mute that coverage and you listen to mine, but you also get to actually watch the cars go around the track. So if you guys are interested, there's a link in the description. Go ahead and check that out. Also, I would like to mention here that I am going to be running a giveaway here for Surfshark VPN, and the way to enter the giveaway is literally just to type one message into the chat. So as long as you've typed one message in the chat, you're automatically entered into the giveaway. Typing multiple messages does not give you multiple entries or anything like that. So yeah, just be sure to type a message into the chat. And if YouTube isn't letting you type a message into the chat, then all you've got to do is subscribe to the channel for 1 minute. And once you've subscribed, then you can type a message into the chat. All right. Yep, so we're just getting a couple of people typing that one message through. The way the giveaway is going to work is if you guys type one message in this weekend stream, in the Miami stream, and in the Imola stream. So we're going to have 3 streams, and if you guys are in each stream, then you get entered into the giveaway, and I'll announce the winners after the Imola Grand Prix. Okay. And also, if you do spam, then you'll be banned, and you won't be part of the giveaway. So. All right, so let's talk about what else have we got. 13 minutes left to go, and we shall run through a couple more pieces of the news. We have got, Fred Vasseur is saying Ferrari still haven't got the best out of their car. Lando Norris, after qualifying yesterday, after their crash, they've replaced 24 components in their car. 24 components have been changed. They're all the exact same components. There's no upgrades or anything like that. He's not getting any penalties because we're right at the start of the season. But yeah, I just have to point out that Lando Norris has got some fresh sets of components. They've done some install laps making sure everything's working, but they have replaced a bunch of parts. They are not taking any risks whatsoever here because, it's a championship battle. It's going to be very, very tight. P51 Mustang, thank you for the donation. Thanks for streaming these. Williams 1-2 today. Let's go. Yeah, we'll see what Williams can do, but Carlos Sainz is absolutely flying. So we'll, things look well. Do you think Ferrari will get better, or are they doomed? Well, Ferrari, for the past 20 years have been consistently second best. If you exclude 2007, then they've pretty much been second, third best for 20 years running. So I don't know how there hasn't been just 1 year where they've managed to get the fastest car on the grid. They're just consistently number 2, which is, it's incredible that they're consistent, but number 2 is just, it's always so close yet so far for them. All right, I shall run through the championship standings that we've got as well. Just looking at the standings right now, we've got Lando Norris top of the standings, 77 points for him. Oscar Piastri 3 points back, he's got 74. Max Verstappen has got 69 points. George Russell with 63. So that is the top 4 of the Drivers' Championship, and all of the drivers very close to each other, and it could go either which way. We're only here at round number 5 in Saudi Arabia. We've got another 19-20 races left to go. And just looking at the constructors, McLaren 150 points, Mercedes 93, Red Bull 71, and Ferrari 57. I think it's quite clear McLaren are going to win the constructors. Mercedes versus Red Bull will be interesting for second place in the Constructors' Championship, but McLaren very comfortably will take the constructors, I think. Okay, and we're just watching a couple of replays here for the race start in 2021, the race restart, the safety car restart that we've had in the past couple of years, and it always kicks off. There's so much action going into turn number 1, and going into turn number 1, turn number 2, there is huge chaos, and we'll wait and see what happens with This time round, yeah, they've got a 130-meter run. So from the starting grid to the breaking point of turn number 1, they've got 130 meters that they can accelerate and catch up to their rivals. So it's quite a short run from the starting grid to the breaking point. But in a short run, you can still make a move out to the inside. Of course, if you start on the left-hand side, you'll have the inside line, and you'll force your way through, and you can potentially get some overtakes done that way. Okay, what is the track temperature? Track temperature is 38 degrees. The wind speed is 5 kilometers per hour. The air temperature is 28.6 degrees, so it is cooled down a little bit here in the desert in Saudi Arabia. So the drivers this race shouldn't be too physical on them compared to Bahrain. Bahrain was pretty hot as well, but yeah, slightly lower track temperature and slightly lower air temperature as well. Okie dokes, we are 9 minutes and 50 seconds away. Thank you everyone for tuning in, folks. If you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. We've got 10,000 people tuning into the stream. That is absolutely fantastic, and we'll be getting underway very, very shortly for the start of this race. What server do I have to connect to the VPN to watch? You've got to connect to the Austrian server. The Austrian ones will give you the Formula 1 coverage. Okay, so some other things to mention. Liam Lawson has out-qualified Isaac Hadjar now, so he's making some solid progress. And Lawson, I was saying this in FP3, and Lawson has now had enough time in Formula 1. He's had 11 races before this season. He's now had a couple of races this season as well. He's settled into this Racing Bulls car, and I think that he should be good enough now to stay ahead of Hadjar, given that he has got a little bit more experience. But nonetheless, Hadjar as a rookie is making some fantastic performances, and he'll be one to watch for the future. Okay, some more things to mention. Charles Leclerc, very, very unhappy with the qualifying. He says that after the qualifying that he's pushed the car to the absolute limit, and still he cannot get pole position or get anywhere close to the other drivers. He tries to push any harder, he gets oversteer, he tries to put any harder, and they change the setup a little bit, he gets understeer. It's Ferrari just cannot get it right, and Leclerc has extracted absolutely everything that he can out of the car, and still it's only 4th place for him, which he is very frustrated about. Hamilton in qualifying was half a second back from Charles Leclerc, so still a lot of improvement left to go there for Lewis Hamilton, and we'll hope that he can close the gap up to Leclerc. Okay, also the drivers, they lose 19 seconds going through the pit lane under green flag conditions. They only lose 10 seconds under the safety car conditions if they drive through the pit lane. So 19 seconds is a lot shorter than we typically see. Typically it's 24, 23 seconds. So yeah, we should be seeing 2-stop race here today. Okay, so this is the 4th time in a row Max Verstappen has got pole position here. He's got pole position here in 2022, 23, 24, and 25 now. This is a fantastic circuit for Max. It's just, he's absolutely brilliant at it. And he probably would have got pole in 2021 if it just wasn't for that final corner. But he, of course, rectified that issue this year and put together a blistering lap. Okay. I'm not streaming on Twitch. My internet hasn't been the best this week, so I've decided, if I'm going to stream, I'm just going to stream on YouTube. Otherwise, there's a chance that if I start streaming on Twitch as well, then the YouTube stream starts lagging, which I'd rather that didn't happen. Okay. The last time we've got the Red Bulls, the last time we've had both Red Bulls in the top 8 has been the 2024 Baku Grand Prix. That was the 2024 Baku Grand Prix was when the channel hit 100k. The channel's about to hit 150k this weekend. And also it's been like a half a year now since Red Bull have had both cars in the top 8. So a very long time coming. Sergio Perez hasn't been able to deliver, and Tsunoda has finally stepped in and is driving very well in that car. And if he hadn't made that one mistake at turn number 4, then he probably would have been up in 5th position as well. But there's always, if, buts, and maybes. If Lando Norris didn't crash at turn number 4, then maybe he would have been on pole. But we can always say if, but, and maybe. But what actually happened? Tsunoda made a little mistake because that Red Bull is a bit unpredictable. Alright, what are the tyre compounds? We have got the C5, the C4 and the C3, the softest tyres of Pirelli's range. And most likely the race strategy, start the race on the medium tyres, then go onto a set of hards, and then go onto another set of hard tyres. That is the strategy. Or the alternate strategy, start the race on the mediums, then just go onto the hards, pit a little bit later, and extend out your entire stint. So it all really depends what the tyre degradation is like, and what the overtaking situation is like. If it's really easy to overtake, we're seeing overtakes happen left, right, and centre, then, a two-stop is much more appealing and attractive. But if you can't make any overtakes, then it's like, oh, we might as well hold track position and just do one pit stop. What about medium, hard, medium? Medium, hard, medium is a good idea. However, the problem is not every driver, in fact, no driver apart from Carlos Sainz has two sets of medium tyres. All of the drivers have two sets of hards and one set of mediums. Sainz is the only driver that has two sets of mediums and one set of hard tyres. So that's why the medium, hard, medium strategy probably is not going to work because, well, they don't have fresh sets of medium tyres. How is Norris allowed to replace his components without starting from the pit lane? The rule is you can only replace your components and not start from the pit lane if you replace them with the exact same components. So for example, if you break your front wing in quali, you can replace it with the exact same front wing, but you can't put an upgraded front wing or you can't put a downgraded front wing. You need the exact same part. And let's say, he wanted to change his suspension settings. He says, oh, the car's just bouncing around everywhere. We want to change suspension settings. If you change the suspension setting, you got to start from the pit lane. But they've kept the setup the exact same. They've just replaced some components and they've put the exact same ones back into the car. Okay, what are the chances of Russell winning? Well, Russell had some really good pace, and according to the simulation pace, the Mercs have a tiny advantage over the Red Bulls in race pace. So there is a chance, if Verstappen can hold off Piastri, then there's a chance that Russell will get past Piastri because the Mercs have a little bit more top speed than the McLarens. So it should be easier for Russell to make an overtake, but it's all going to get very feisty into turn number 1, and there's no way to know what will really happen. Okay, here. We've got 16,000 people tuning into the live stream. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys all season long. We've had such a fantastic season so far. We've got 3 minutes to get underway for this race. I cannot wait. This is going to be absolutely brilliant. Okie dokes, then. Here we go. Overtaking is super hard here. It has been in previous years. However, with the 3 DRS zones this season and with how close the competition is, I have a feeling that overtaking might be a little bit, we might get a little bit more overtaking than we did last year. But the gearbox is an exception to this. The gearbox is, however, I don't think they replaced the gearbox. We've got the tyre information. This is interesting. It's come through early. Everyone in the top 9 starting the race on the medium tyres. Norris going for the alternate strategy, starting the race on the hards, and then he's probably going to go onto the mediums for his final stint. Then we've got Hadjar starting the race on the hards, Stroll on the hards, and Hulkenberg on the hards. Apart from that, everyone else starting the race on a set of fresh medium tyres. Alright, I shall show you where DRS is on the circuit. Let me just, okay, here's my cursor. Alright, so we've got DRS, of course, down the main straight here where the drivers are parked up. We've got DRS after turn number 25, so you've got DRS coming down this back straight. And then you've also got DRS between here, turn number 19 to turn number 22. You've got DRS in this part of the circuit as well. So 3 DRS zones and loads of overtaking opportunities. Exoteric, thanks for the $10 donation. Thanks for another great weekend commentary, and shout out to the mods for keeping the chat a very fun place indeed. Thank you very much to our moderators. Our moderators and channel members do a brilliant job, and really help out the channel so much. Without you guys, I mean, the chat would be a bit of a mess. Would probably get quite a few spammers. But yeah, thanks to the mods. Everything is under control. All right, F1 Game, I just want to say thanks for your commentary this season. It's been great to have them in the background, get me through the exam season. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm through exam season. I've been doing past papers for about 6 hours today, and finally got a break out of doing some past papers, and here I am doing some Formula One commentary. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 minute away from the start of the race, so I've just got to mention a few things before we get underway. We're going to have 50 laps of racing, no DRS for the first lap. The circuit is 6.05 kilometers long, and yeah, probably a two-stop race for today. I'm sponsored by Surfshark VPN. If you guys are interested in watching the coverage for only $2 a month, there's a link in the description. Just click the link, get Surfshark VPN, download it to your computer, join the Austrian server, search ORF on Google, and then you will be able to watch all of the Formula One coverage for only $2 a month, rather than, a very hefty price that you have to pay Sky Sports with. Okie dokes, that is the end of, the blibber blabber. Actually, one final thing, if we could hit 150k subs today, that would be fantastic. As I mentioned earlier, we're running a giveaway, so if you guys want to enter the giveaway, all you've got to do is type a chat message. So you've got to subscribe to type the chat message, and then you've got to type one singular chat message, and you automatically get entered into the giveaway. Typing more chat messages doesn't add any extra entries. All right, there we go. 0 on the timer, and the formation lap is getting underway. Let me get rid of this timer here. And Anthony Barnett, thank you for the donation. Honestly, this ain't much, but you deserve pay for this. 5 a.m. here in New Zealand, 1 minute to lights out, and away we go. Thanks, Anthony, for the donation, and let's get underway then. Here we are, all the cars making their way down the starting grid and in towards turn number 1. Okie dokes then, we have got Max Verstappen leading the way. I'm going to go from the bottom of the pack all the way to the top. We've got Gabriel Bortoleto. He's been doing fantastically in that in the Sauber, but we just haven't seen much performance from him because the Sauber is literally a tractor on the Formula One field. We've got Esteban Ocon in 19th position. He's really been struggling with that Haas car, unable to do well compared to his teammate. Behrman is doing a fantastic job, so Ocon has got to pick up the pace sooner rather than later. Hulkenberg in 18th position. Unfortunately, couldn't manage to get that Sauber out of Q1. However, the Sauber, they have got the highest straight line speed out of any car on the grid this weekend. They have taken all of the downforce off. They're going maximum top speed. So watch out for Nico Hulkenberg making some overtakes into turn 1. We've got Doohan starting the race on a set of medium tyres. It's a good thing that he hasn't crashed so far. The rookies, all of them, are going to have to be very alert because it is a street circuit and you do have to be alert. Oh, my friend is calling me. Okay, and so let's continue on. We've got Lance Stroll in 16th position. Hopefully he doesn't crash this weekend and crash into the barriers at turn number 2. We got Behrman in 15th place. He made his debut here in 2024 with Ferrari. That drive into the points with only 45 minutes of practice is what got him his Formula One seat. Let's see what he can do this season round. We've got Isaac Hadjar in 14th position. Let's see what he can do. He's starting the race on the hard tyres, the alternate strategy compared to everyone else. We've got Alonso in 13th position. And well, let's see what the Astons can do. They've gone backwards compared to last year. Their car is the only car on the grid that has got slower in 2025 compared to 2024, which is mind-blowing. I don't know how they've managed to do that. And we've got Liam Lawson in 12th position. He's, bounced back from his demotion from Red Bull and is doing all right now. Alex Albon in 11th position. Lando Norris, after his huge crash in qualifying, has got a lot of ground to make up today. And let's see what he can do and if he can make his way up to the podium. It's going to be tough. The McLaren isn't so good in the dirty air, but Lando Norris has got the fastest car, so we'll see what will happen. Pierre Gasly is in 9th position. That Alpine, he has been dragging that Alpine, extracting absolute raw performance from it, and it's been great to see him drive. Let's hope that he can score some points this weekend. Tsunoda made a huge mistake in qualifying, costing him 0.6 of a second through just one corner. If he hadn't done that, he would have been up in 4th position. So let's see if he can make back some places today in the race. Hamilton has been out qualified by Carlos Sainz 2 times in a row. The driver that he replaced at Ferrari is now out qualifying him. Things have gone from bad to worse for Lewis Hamilton. He was half a second back from his teammate. He's really got a lot of ground to make up today. Carlos Sainz Kvyat is flying in the Williams. He's up in 6th position, and, well, let's see if he can make it up for a podium. It's been a long while since we've seen Williams up on the podium. Kimi Antonelli, a great drive from him, and he's been able to get close to George Russell on one of the hardest circuits on the calendar. So, fantastic from Kimi Antonelli. Isaac, thanks for the $5 donation. Very much is appreciated, buddy. We got Charles Leclerc in 4th place. He's extracted everything the Ferrari has to offer, but it's still not enough. Let's see if he can turn things around in the race. We've got George Russell starting the race in 3rd place, Oscar Piastri in 2nd, and Max Verstappen, of course, in 1st after that sensational pole position lap yesterday. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have got 20,000 horsepower revving away. It is 5 lights. The lights are out. Go, go, go. We are racing. Verstappen cuts off Oscar Piastri, but Piastri has a great start into turn number 1. Piastri does he lead? Verstappen cuts the corner through turn number 2. And we've got another Antonelli cuts the corner as well. Verstappen holds the lead. Piastri in 2nd place. Then we've got Russell in 3rd. Leclerc goes up into 4th. Antonelli gives the position back very, very quickly. And we've got Hamilton in 6th. Gasly up into 8th. Oh, there's a crash, a huge crash at Red Bull. Is it Tsunoda? Tsunoda's off and Gasly is off. Gasly and Tsunoda have crashed. I think Tsunoda can continue on, but Gasly absolutely cannot. And that is a yellow flag is out. Surely that's got to be a safety car sooner or later. Gasly's stuck on the side of the track. I think Tsunoda is as well. What are they doing? Why haven't they called out the safety car? Gasly's stuck on the side of the circuit. Verstappen is continuing on, and so is Oscar Piastri. Look at that lead. It is 0.8 of a second as of now, and Verstappen has taken full advantage of that race start, cut the corner a little bit, and is now about to break DRS. Still no safety car. What are they doing? They're stuck on the side of the circuit. We can see on the GPS. So safety car deployed. Okay, safety car has been deployed, and the race has been neutralized, and here we go then. So Gasly and Tsunoda collide. Both drivers doing so well. So, Tsunoda makes his step up to Red Bull, shows what he's made of, and Gasly has been performing like a prime Ayrton Senna in that Alpine, sorry. The Alpine has no performance whatsoever, but he's just managing to somehow get it through into Q3, and unfortunately both of them collide, and they both go into the barriers. I think Tsunoda might be able to keep going, but Gasly absolutely cannot keep going. His rear wing and his rear suspension is destroyed. Tsunoda is going, as you can see there on the map, and he may have some damage, but he's continuing on from this race. Yeah, Gasly has been doing so well lately, and we just looked at the replay here. I'll show you where they crashed at turn number 4. In fact, on my onboard, let me just get it up to the correct spot on the circuit. Yeah, so they're going through turn number 1 here. They make it through nicely. Verstappen cuts the corner on the inside there, but going towards turn number 4, what happens is, so I'll just pause it when they crash. Yeah, just about here on the apex. There's Gasly's to the right of this car here. So the car that you're seeing up on the screen, that's where Tsunoda was. Gasly was to the right of him, and he got pinched, and they both went and spun around into the barrier. So that's what happened there. And just as a replay, into turn number 1, what happened? Verstappen went a little bit wide and then just cut the corner here. So you know how I'm turning left and then I'm going to go turn right. Verstappen just went straight on well, cut the corner a little bit. We've seen that happen so many times here, though. I don't think he's even going to get a penalty because it is just turn one shenanigans on lap number 1. Yuki Tsunoda is in the pit box here, right? And they are inspecting the car. They're making some changes. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but they're just double checking everything is okay before they send him out to the grid. It doesn't matter if he loses time or not. Everyone's stuck behind the safety car anyway. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Max cut the corner, but also Piastri didn't give him much room. So it's like, it's I was being a little bit, focusing heavy on Max cutting the corner, but Piastri also didn't give him much room. So I guess it's both drivers' fault, but yeah, Piastri was very hot into turn number 1, and Piastri himself barely made the corner, to be honest. So I don't know exactly where he was expecting Verstappen to go. I mean, he was expecting Verstappen to back off. That's what he was hoping to do. Okay, Tsunoda is still in the pit lane. We'll investigate to see if Tsunoda's going to make it out the pit lane or not. But yeah, not ideal for him. Antonelli, though, cut the corner. He gave the position back to Leclerc, but of course, Antonelli actually overtook Leclerc via cutting the corner and then gave him the position back. So I think that's fair enough. Okay. So here we go. I think Tsunoda's in the pits. I don't think he's coming out. That might be the end of it. Can you repeat why Tsunoda and Gasly crashed? Tsunoda was on the inside line. He sort of understeered into Gasly. Gasly gave him, you know, the bare minimum room, a little bit more than the bare minimum, and Tsunoda understeered. They both spun around and into the barriers they went. Can you show the DRS sections? Yeah, we've got DRS coming down the main straight here. We've got DRS where all the drivers are, and we've got DRS between turn number 19 and turn number 22. So those are the 3 DRS zones on the circuit. Okie dokes. Charles's radio just said Yuki retired. Okay, yeah, Tsunoda, it just came over. Yeah, Tsunoda has retired. So that is Tsunoda out of this race as well. Tsunoda and Gasly, both of them out of the race. And as we can see there on the bottom of our screen, we see Yuki Tsunoda has retired. Oh, okie dokes. What a start of the race this has been. 2 drivers have crashed, and we are on lap number 3 of 50. DRS is still disabled here. When the safety car comes in, we'll have 1 lap without DRS, and then we'll have 1 lap, and the lap after that, DRS will get enabled. We've got 37,000 people tuned into live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys so far, and hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. Look forward to seeing you guys for future streams as well. This has been a fantastic season so far, and it's only going to get better. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. Lawson's lost 2 positions already. I mean, in fact, let's have a look here. Sainz lost 1 position, and apart from that, everyone else has gained a couple positions because because Gasly and Tsunoda retired, of course. But yeah, Tsunoda lost 2 places off the race start, which wasn't ideal for him. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have got the message from race control. Safety car is in this lap. Safety car is in this lap. Okay, and Verstappen comes over the radio. He says, he forced me off. There was no intention of him making that corner. So that's what Verstappen's, outcome of turn number 1, lap 1 is. But yeah, I don't think the stewards are going to have any sort of issue. Oh no, they are. It's under investigation. Verstappen and Piastri is under investigation. So I will let you know of the outcome of what happens there. But the safety car is coming in this lap. Let's see what happens. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button, be sure to subscribe. If you can hit 150k today, that would be absolutely incredible. The safety car makes its way towards the pit lane. Max Verstappen has started backing everyone up. He is controlling the pace, and all of the drivers are putting their engine modes up now. They've just come over the radio to George Russell. They can engage Strat Mode 5, which is maximum attack mode for the Mercedes team, and I'm sure Oscar Piastri with the Mercedes engine will be doing the exact same. Okie dokes. Oh, we've got a Stroll recovery arc here. He's got fastest lap of the race has Lance Stroll, looking really good. And safety car makes his way into the pit lane, and Max Verstappen is crawling around at a snail's pace here, weaving left, right, 80 kilometers per hour, 50 miles per hour is the speed that he's going at before he hits the foot. Well, before he puts his foot flat to the floor, going towards the final corner. Here he comes, and Verstappen is faking, and oh, he goes. Oh, he catches Piastri off guard, and George Russell gets a great leap off Piastri, and Piastri now under pressure, and Leclerc's right on the tail of George Russell as well. It's going to be 3 wide going into turn number 1. Piastri versus Leclerc versus Russell. Piastri to the inside. He maintains that lead. Leclerc tries to sweep round the outside, but Verstappen sent all of the drivers, and Piastri was left scrambling in the dust. The gap is half a second. His aim now, keep that gap under 1 second. So on the next lap of the race, he will have DRS. Okay, so here they go then through sector number 1, and look at that gap, 1.05 already. Huge gap from Max Verstappen, and Piastri is really struggling. Oh, it's a 5-second time penalty awarded to Max Verstappen here, ladies and gentlemen. A 5-second time penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Ooh, he's going to have to serve that in the pit lane, but it's a 5-second time penalty for Max Verstappen. That's what the stewards say, and, you can take that what you will. I'm just communicating the information to you guys. Okay. 1.1 seconds is the gap here, Max Verstappen to Oscar Piastri. Let's see what Piastri can do. He's going to have a bit of a slipstream. He's going to deploy all of his overtake mode to try and close up to the back of Max Verstappen. Just looking here, Doohan, Ocon and Bortoleto, I forgot to mention this while the safety car was in, but they've all pitted for hard tyres. It looks like Doohan, Ocon and Bortoleto are going for the 1 pit stop strategy, and they're just going to go on these hard tyres right to the end of the race. That's what they think might work. So let's just wait and see. Oh, we've got an overtake here. Isaac Hadjar down the inside of Fernando Alonso. He's a little bit hot on the brakes. Fernando Alonso says thank you very much, and I'm going to take that position off you back as we go towards turn number 1. Great battling there between Hadjar and Alonso. Hadjar once again into turn number 1, a little bit of an advantage, and he stays ahead of Fernando Alonso. We got a fastest lap of the race here from Max Verstappen, and look at that gap there, 1.037. He's just held it in the margin. He's just held it over the margin. What he needs, Piastri has got to get a move on. It's now or never, otherwise Verstappen might just run away with this race. And once again, we've got the exact same thing that we saw yesterday. Verstappen had a purple first sector, Russell with a purple second sector, and Piastri with a purple third sector. That's exactly what we saw in qualifying, and as we can see, the drivers are driving to their car's strengths. Okay, DRS has been enabled here, ladies and gentlemen, and it looks like we're getting a big old DRS train forming. Sainz has lost a position to Hamilton compared from where they started. Oh, Verstappen, they come over the radius of Verstappen. Information, you've been given a 5-second time penalty from turn number 1. And Verstappen says, well, that's effing lovely. And they reply, yep, no comment, thank you. So Verstappen obviously not pleased with that. And Piastri, oh, he was within DRS range and then fell out of it again. But he's using DRS. He was within DRS range at the detection point. And look at the amount of time that he's gaining. It went from 1.1 seconds down to 0.7. Here we go. All right. So Piastri exits the final corner. He's within 0.8 of Max Verstappen. He's going to have the DRS, the slipstream. The Mercedes power unit is screaming away at 16,000 RPM. He's getting very, very close to the back of Verstappen. And maybe next lap. And Piastri's got a fastest lap of the race. So I have a feeling I'm going to be updating this fastest lap counter a lot this race. We're going to have a back and forth between Max and Piastri, surely. Antonelli all over the back of Charles Leclerc. Leclerc is pushing that Ferrari to the limit. He said in qualifying that there was no more pace left in the car, and that was kind of indicated by the fact that Hamilton was half a second behind him, and still he's struggling in that Ferrari. It seems to be the 4th fastest car on the grid. It's not looking good for him. All right, thank you everyone for tuning in. We've got 40,000 people tuning into the live stream. It looks like we're going to break another record here for the channel. We're probably, last weekend stream, we had 56,000 people tune into the coverage. So if we can beat that, that'd be incredible. The main thing though, if we could hit 150k, that'd be fantastic. Okay, here they go then through the middle sector. Oscar Piastri, that gap creeps up. The first sector is absolutely killer. If you have dirty air through the first sector, you can't go flat through turn number 7 and 8. And that is, that loses you so much time, because if you can't go flat through 7 and 8, that means you have a lower speed going through 8 and 9 and 10, which means as you go towards turn number 13, there's a nice little straight there where you're flat for about 4 or 5 seconds and you're losing time constantly. And look at this, last lap, the gap between Piastri and Verstappen, that was 0.7 of a second. Here it is 1.05 seconds now. So yeah, that gap has opened up a little bit, and Verstappen comes across the line, a 133.5 from him, Piastri a 133.9. He loses 0.4 of a second on that lap. Norris makes a position up. He gets ahead of Alex Albon. Some good progress here now. Norris, oh sorry, not Albon. He gets ahead of Carlos Sainz and up into 7th place there for Norris. He's got a recovery drive to do. He's kept his head on, 3 places up from the race start. Of course, 2 of those places are really just from Tsunoda and Gasly crashing, but nonetheless, he hasn't crashed himself and hasn't got tangled in anything, and he's also on the hard tyres. I would like to point that out. Norris is on the harder tyres, the slower tyres, and still managing to make some moves on Carlos Sainz. Okay. So here we go then. We're on lap number 7 of 50. Okay, ladies and gents, so if we see the drivers here on the medium tyres, if they pit before lap number 16, then it's most likely that we are going to get a 2-stop race. If we see the drivers pit after lap number 16, then it's going to be most likely a 1-stop race. So lap number 16 is the threshold for 1-stop to 2-stop. Let's wait and see what happens. We're on lap number 7 as of now. Here we go. Piastri, he's maintains that gap. 1.1 seconds is what he's maintaining. And the thing is, it's not so bad. Maybe he's not, in the slipstream of Max Verstappen. Maybe he's not in the DRS range. However, he knows that Verstappen has got a 5-second time penalty. And inevitably, when Verstappen comes into the pit lane, if he can stay within 1 second of him, then he will get track position after the pit stops occur. So, Piastri, his main focus for now is at least to just be within 5 seconds of Max, because once he serves his penalty, he will come out ahead of him. All right, we've got Antonelli with a lap time deleted and Verstappen with a lap time deleted here. The drivers are going to have to be careful. Track limits, if you do get 3 track limits deletions, then you will get a black and white flag and a 5-second penalty to your name. So the drivers do have to be careful here. F1 Gamer, can you recap what happened on the race start? So basically, Tsunoda and Gasly crashed going through turn number 4. That's where Norris crashed yesterday. Tsunoda and Gasly crashed today, and they caused a safety car. And just going into turn number 1, the main thing, Max Verstappen had the outside line, Piastri the inside line. Piastri, didn't really make the corner. However, Verstappen cut the corner by a pretty big margin and didn't let Piastri close up. It's like he cut the corner and just kept on going. I haven't looked at the telemetry, but by the looks of just the gap, Verstappen just went flat out. So he got handed with a 5-second time penalty, and that's how things have played out for now. We're on lap number 8 of 50, and Lando Norris is looking to overtake Lewis Hamilton here up in 7th position. He's going to make some moves. Oh, and look at this. Max Verstappen, a 133.891. Piastri, he goes 2 milliseconds slower. These drivers, honestly, they are so close to each other in terms of raw performance. It is mind-blowing how close this race is. Okay. Here we go then. We've got... Verstappen just leading the way, really. And he's still holding that margin. It's 1 second. It's hovering around that 1 second so much, but that's about it. Okay, build that 5-second gap. Yeah, Verstappen, I'm sure that's what he's got to do. He's got to build that 5-second gap. If he can't build it, then that's going to be the end of... he's going to be stuck behind Piastri after the pit stops, and then he's going to have to make an overtake, which is going to be very difficult. Okay, they've got a track limit strike for turn number 2. Yeah, so that's... Yeah, Verstappen's got 1 track limit strike. Oh, Verstappen... Okay, so Verstappen was given a track limit strike for cutting the corner on lap 1, right? And he's been given track limits warning for that. However, he already was given a 5-second penalty. So the FIA are just doubling up the penalties for no reason, even though that in the driver briefing, they said that they will not do that. So they're just going against their own rules, which is typical FIA. And yeah, you can't make it up, can you? All right, bro, update your fastest lap counter. No, nobody's set any fastest laps. They've been improving on their laps, but Piastri is still the last one to hold the fastest lap. Okay, and, he's got the DRS he gains, and, going into turn number 1, he's 7/10 back. However, as they go through the first sector now, as we see, right, they're going through turn number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. By the end of that situation of corners, the gap's going to go from 7/10 of a second. Look, they're only halfway through, and it's already 1 full second. He's lost 3/10 in 3 corners, and that is the effect of the dirty air. Okay, yeah. Not looking great, though. We haven't had any pit stops as of yet. If teams do want to go for a 2-stop strategy, it's time. Now's the time to come into the pits and get those hard tyres on and push a little bit harder. The undercut, not as powerful as it was in Bahrain, but nonetheless, it's worth trying. Okay. Yeah, Lando Norris, he's actually closing up to the back here of Lewis Hamilton. So Norris, of course, he's got a recovery drive to make, and we shall see if he can make it and if he can get ahead of Lewis Hamilton. It'll be a bit tough given that he's on the harder tyres compared to Hamilton, but he is also in the quicker car, so let's see. How is Max the same place as McLaren? So Max is just an absolute machine. That's what it is. All right, this is rough mudding. Yeah, I think I might add slow mode into the chat just so we have a little bit less spam coming through and a little bit less messages. What's the site for watching it free in Austria? It's ORF. So if you guys get Surfshark VPN, which is the link in the description, then you can then you can watch Formula One for only $2 a month. Okay, so we have got Piastri once again hovering within that DRS range, and honestly, I'm going to be saying the word DRS a lot today. If you guys, want to start playing a drinking game and drink every time I say DRS, then all power to you guys, but I think you're going to end up pretty drunk. Albon comes over the radio. Albon's annoyed once again. They've come over the radio to Albon saying, just think about your gap to the car in front and try not to overheat the tyres. And then Albon comes over the radio pretty angry saying, do you guys not see that there's a car right behind me? I have to keep him behind as well. So yeah, not particularly happy, Alex Albon. He hasn't been happy to over the radio to Williams all season long, actually. I don't know what's going on, but Williams pit wall not being the most helpful, according to Alex Albon, this season. Why are Doohan, Bortoletto and Ocon on hard tyres? They are going for the absolute long shot strategy, right? They pit when the safety car came out. They only lost 10 seconds of time. They rejoined right at the back of the pack, and they are going to go on those hard tyres right to the end of the race. They're in full tyre conservation mode, and they're going to try and make it all the way to the end on that one set of tyres. So we'll just wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens. Okay, Piastri here, he's got the DRS, he's gaining. He's up to 330Ks actually, as he has the DRS. And look at that, half a second into turn one. He's getting closer, but it's just not enough. Norris is trying to get onto the back of Hamilton. In fact, he's within DRS range of Hamilton here. Hamilton now feeling a bit of the pressure, and that Ferrari sliding around a little bit. Looks a little strange, to be honest. Shouldn't be doing that, but of course we know the Ferrari isn't the most stable car in the world. And I think Antonelli just taps the barriers ever so slightly. But it was just a little kiss of the barriers, and he's managed to keep going. So no issues there for Antonelli. But the mistakes will start to creep in. As we're reaching now, well, we're a couple of laps into the race. But once you get to the later stages of the race, the drivers are getting exhausted. Then it looks like we might see a couple more mistakes start to creep in. Okay, how many times for the pit stops, the drivers, you lose 19 seconds in the pit lane. That is how much you lose, 19 seconds for coming into the pits. So, for example, let's see, if Verstappen comes into the pits now, he's going to come out in between Hadjar and Alonso. That's where he's going to come out, between 10th and 11th place. Okay. Okie dokes. Yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys so far. And Piastri, once again, has got DRS. And he's going to be looking to close the gap. Here comes Lando Norris, actually, into turn number 11. Turn number 27. He looks to the inside. Hamilton, is he going to fight this one back? Norris goes down the inside. Says thank you very much to his British rival. However, he's looking in his mirrors now. He's looking to the left, looking to the right. Hamilton's got the DRS. He's got the slipstream. Norris pulls to the inside line. Hamilton the outside. They go into turn number 1. Hamilton sparking away so late on the brakes, and he just gets ahead of Lando Norris. Great defense there from Lewis Hamilton. He allowed him to get by into turn number 27 and then slipstreamed him right back into turn number 1. Great battling there from Hamilton, and he's not making this overtake easy, and they're on totally separate strategies, but nonetheless Hamilton is battling away with Norris. Doesn't want to give up position so easily. Okay. We got Lance Stroll with a lap time deleted for exceeding track limits. We got Bortoletto with another lap time deleted as well. The drivers are going to have to be careful. If the drivers exceed track limits more than 3 times in this race, they will be handed a 5-second time penalty. They do have to be careful here. Okay. And here we are, lap number 13 of 50. We're approaching the pit stop window now, so it looks like we are going to get a one-stop race, even though Pirelli brought a step softer tyres this weekend compared to last year. I have a feeling that it's going to be a one-stop race unless there's a late safety car, which changes the outlook of the race. Okay, we are approaching our like target. Let's put our like target up to 10,000 likes. That's what we hit last weekend when we had 45,000 people tuned into the stream. And also, ladies and gents, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to do so. Hopefully we can hit 150k this stream. That would be mega. Okay, here we go. Lando Norris once again, round number 2, so late on the brakes into turn number 27. again gets ahead of Hamilton, and now Hamilton's going to try and do the same thing. He opens a DRS flap, he presses K1 to overtake, Norris takes the inside line, Hamilton again takes the outside line, he slipstreams in past and into turn number 1. Norris loses a position, Hamilton back into 6th. Norris, you're going to have to try something different here, buddy. Don't overtake him into turn number 27, let him have the lead into 27, then overtake him into turn number 1. That's probably going to be the way to go about it. What is the weather on the track right now? Track temperature is 37 degrees, so it's dropped a little bit compared to the start of the race. That's probably helping the tyre wear situation. Air temperature 30 degrees, wind is very, very low, and of course we're here in the desert. It's pretty dark and pretty hot. Alright, yeah, Lewis finally uses K1 and he manages to get ahead of Norris. Okay. So they say Strat 8 to Hamilton. Okay, they come over the radio, to Norris saying, okay, mate, Strat 8, play the game. So I assume they're saying the play the game is play the DRS game. We'll just wait and see what happens there and if he can play the DRS game, you know? Do you think Norris is feeling the pressure a little bit? Well, if his qualifying crash yesterday indicates anything, I think he is feeling the pressure. Okay, Piastri, look at that gap. 1.2 seconds is the gap there for Piastri. He's keeping Verstappen well within that 5-second window. So when Verstappen eventually pits, he's going to come out ahead of him. Okay, Norris into turn number 27 doesn't make an overtake this time. He is right on Hamilton's tails. He gets a brilliant exit. He opens the DRS flap, and that Mercedes engine is screaming away. He takes the outside line this time. Hamilton takes the inside line. Norris with enough power and is late enough on the brakes to get that overtake done. It's 6th place there for Lando Norris. And yeah, great overtake. Lawson gets ahead of Fernando Alonso as well. Both Racing Bulls are able to overtake Alonso in the span of about 10 laps. It's not great for Aston Martin. They've been going backwards compared to last season. If they didn't have any upgrades from the car compared to last year, they would actually be quicker. So I have no idea what's going on there at Aston Martin. Hamilton immediately drops off the back. 1.2 seconds is the gap to Lando Norris now. He's not going to be able to fight that one. The Mercedes isn't... Oh, sorry, not the Mercedes. The Ferrari just isn't all that great in the dirty air. And, Hamilton also just doesn't really have the pace. Okay, we are here on lap number 15. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. If you haven't subscribed, it'd be fantastic to make our way towards 150k. And currently I'm running a giveaway for Surfshark VPN. If you guys want to enter the giveaway, all you've got to do is type a message into the chat. Type one message and then you're automatically entered into the giveaway. Spamming in the chat will probably get you banned and you'll get your vote removed or your entry removed. Okay, and if YouTube isn't letting you type in the chat, all you've got to do is be subscribed for 1 minute, and then you're allowed to type into the chat. It's just to prevent spammers from spamming. All right, Piastri, the gap 1.4 seconds there. It's slowly dropping back, and that could be just a sign of him being in the dirty air because he was behind Verstappen and trying to overtake him a couple of times. His car will slide around a little bit, and yep, sliding around, of course, overheats the tyres and his tyres dropping off. Lap number 16, this is the cut-off point. So now the drivers are going to be doing a one-stop, probably most likely, of course, unless there's a safety car, which means that, well, Piastri is now going to have to manage his tyres a little bit and hopefully stay within 5 seconds. Okie dokes. F1 Gamer, you're like the king of streamers. That is, that's a very nice compliment. Thank you very much. I also think we're the biggest stream on YouTube once again. I think this is now the 3rd weekend running, but I think Coachella, we're bigger than the Coachella stream as well, which is fantastic. Okie dokes. Anyway, back to the coverage. Lap number 16 of 50. We're going to see some pit stops start now, sooner rather than later. And Hamilton comes over the radio. Mate, I'm sliding everywhere. I've got no rear grip. So, yeah, things not looking good there for Lewis Hamilton. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens with him. He is 2 seconds back from Lando Norris already. And if he's sliding around, maybe it will be time to pit onto some hard tyres and continue on. Okay. Yeah, they're just coaching Piastri over the radio here, braking slightly earlier into turn number 27, getting onto the brakes, getting onto the throttle slightly earlier, trying to get a better exit. But that gap is slowly creeping up now, and Verstappen's previous lap of 133.7, Piastri's 134.1. and yeah, the gap is extending up slowly but surely, and you know, that's Verstappen's job: eke the gap out to 5 seconds. So once he eventually comes into the pit lane, he will either have a smaller gap to close up to Piastri, or he will actually stay out ahead of him. Okay, yeah. What else have we got going on here? We got Alonso battling away with Liam Lawson. Of course, we had some fantastic battles between Lawson and Alonso back in Mexico, last year, and yeah, they're back at it again on. This time on, medium tyres here in Saudi Arabia, and those tyres are reaching the end of their life. Sooner or later, we are going to be coming into the pits. F1 Gamer, thank you so much for the coverage. Very much is appreciated, guys. Thank you, everyone, for all the lovely messages in the chat. I'm reading some of them. Obviously, I can't read all of them out as I'm commentating, but it really does mean a lot. So, and we've just hit 149k subs as well. So thank you, everyone, for hitting the subscribe button. Where do they pit if they're doing one pit stop? It's between lap number 16 and 22. So it should be around about now. We should be hearing some messages over the radio of box. However, the key thing is you need a bit of a gap here. Like, let's have a look here. Max Verstappen is currently out on the circuit here, just in first place. If he goes back, if he comes into the pits now, he's going to come out in this little gap between Hamilton and Sainz, which is an ideal gap to come out in. But ideally, they'll want it to be a little bit bigger. And if it's a little bit bigger, then they can comfortably come into the pits. If Piastri comes into the pits now, he's going to be stuck in traffic of Sainz, Albon and Hadjar, which is, well, bad news, isn't it? He does not want to be stuck in traffic when he wants to chase down Max Verstappen. So that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for a gap to open up, and then they're going to pit Max Verstappen and Piastri into the gap. Of course, they'll have the 5-second penalty. Actually, yeah, if you add the 5-second penalty in, then for Max, he'll actually come out behind come out behind Sainz, Albon, Hadjar, and actually in between Hadjar and Lawson by the looks of it. All right. Also, folks, just have to mention here, as we're approaching lap number 18, I'm sponsored by Surfshark VPN. If you guys want to watch the coverage for, as I say on the screen, $2 a month, there's a link in the description. Click that, get Surfshark VPN, join the Austrian server, and then search ORF. You get to watch all of the coverage for only $2. Russell over the radio saying, my tyres are toast. And they come over the back, they come back to the radio to Russell and say, we've seen the similar for everyone. Everyone's struggling with overheating both axles. Copy that. So yeah, that's what they're saying. Everyone's struggling with overheating. And yeah, George Russell, interesting choice of words. My tyres are toast. You can always count on Russell to say something funny. All right. So yeah, the gap now 2.7 seconds. Max Verstappen is still holding that consistent 133.8. Piastri is holding a 134.1. So every lap now 0.4, 0.3 Verstappen is gaining. And sooner or later Piastri has got to start driving a bit quicker. All right, we got Lando Norris here looking to make a move. He gets ahead of Kimi Antonelli into turn number 1. Thank you very much. Lando Norris up into 5th position. Some great driving here. And actually, Lando Norris is currently quicker than Oscar Piastri. No doubt, of course, he got a bit of DRS and slipstream from Antonelli, which helps him out. But those hard tyres are now coming to the stage where they're going to be quicker than the medium tyres. Everyone's struggling on the mediums now. And we've got our first driver coming into the pits. Box is the radio message to Piastri. And Behrman comes into the pit lane as well. So Piastri should be coming into the pits this lap, maybe next lap. We'll just have to wait and see. But it looks like there's a gap opened up for Oscar Piastri. And he'll be pitting into that gap very, very soon. A 4.2 second pit stop there for Oliver Behrman. And yeah, Verstappen is 2.8, 3 seconds nearly ahead, and Piastri should be coming into the pits this lap. Anthony Barnett, thank you for the $2 donation, buddy. Very much is appreciated. All right, and they've just come over the radio to Max. Let's see what they're saying. Still pulling away from the cars behind. There's still traffic between where we're pitting in to keep going. This is a fantastic job. That's what they say to Max Verstappen. So just keeping Max Verstappen motivated here, trying to build that gap up to 5 seconds. And let's see if Piastri comes into the pits then. After turn 27, reminder down on bound for pit stop. Okay, that's what they say. Piastri slows down. He comes into the pit lane. All right, Piastri, the first of the front runners into the pits. Let's just hope he comes out in some clean air. And is it a quick pit stop as well for the McLaren crew? Oh no, oh come on, 3.4 seconds, not that slow, but also every second counts. You're fighting against Max Verstappen here, and everything is going to matter. So let's wait and see. Antonelli also comes into the pits behind Kimi behind Oscar Piastri, and a quick pit stop there for Antonelli, and a 2.3 second pit for him. All right, and as you can see, Piastri comes out in that gap between Hamilton and Sainz. Piastri out on the fresh tyres. He just has to get ahead of Lewis Hamilton, and then he should be in clean air. Then Norris, in fact, will be up ahead of him, and I'm sure Norris will easily just let him go by. I don't think there's going to be any sort of team orders, I don't think there's going to be any battling between them. They'll come over the radio to Norris, be like, get out of the way for Piastri. He's in the net lead of this race. Okay. So let's see what Piastri can do, and let's look at his sector times as well. Is he going to be able to close up the gap? They come over the radio to Max, push, and let's see. So Piastri has just come in behind Hamilton. It's close at the moment. His stop was around a second slower than it should have been, and yeah, that's correct. That's what they said, and I think it was the right rear. Was it right rear? No, left rear, sorry. Left rear was the issue for Oscar Piastri. Okay, Verstappen, he doesn't come into the pits. He continues on. And purple middle sector here for Oscar Piastri. He's closing up to the back of Lewis Hamilton. And, well, he's got to overtake him this lap or next lap. Otherwise, he's going to start losing time to Mad Max up in front. Okay, we've got Alonso came into the pits as well. Alonso and Behrman, Alonso's a second midfield runner to come into the pits. Piastri comes into the pits Russell comes into the pits as he said, his tyres were toast and he's come in for a set of hard tyres. Piastri, purple in the second sector, purple in the third sector. He's really picks up the pace now, and he wants to try and undercut Max Verstappen. Okay. Here we go then, we've got Liam Lawson into the pits as well, and Piastri now right on the back of Lewis Hamilton. He is almost pushing him through the first sector where dirty air is hampering so many drivers, but Piastri on the fresher tyres by about 20 laps is right on Hamilton's tail. He's got to get this overtake done ASAP. He might even get the overtake done into 22. That's how close he is. All right, let's stay on board here. Everything you have, Max. That's what they've come over the radio to Max with, so Max's maximum attack. But look at those tyres. They are 20 laps old, and the quickest Max Verstappen can achieve is a 1:34.0 on his previous lap, and he's not even improving on these sectors. And here comes Piastri. Piastri, in fact, into turn number 22, gets an overtake done. Brilliant from Piastri. And he's dispatched of Hamilton ASAP. And now he's just got to make sure Hamilton doesn't slipstream him down into turn number 27. And this one could be risky, actually. Verstappen comes into the pit lane. It's now or never. It's going to be a 5-second pit stop, 5-second penalty that he's got to serve. Then he's going to come out of the pit. So let's wait and see. Hamilton comes out the final corner. Piastri just manages to stay ahead of Hamilton as they go through the final corner. Verstappen has his 8.3-second pit stop, 5 seconds for the pit lane, 5 seconds for the time penalty, 3.3-second pit stop. He comes out of the pit lane. He is behind Oscar Piastri, and the gap is around about 4 seconds. And in fact, Russell is right on his tail as well. Russell now, he's going to start putting some pressure. He's got his tyres warmed up. Max Verstappen has not. Here comes George Russell. He's going to try and chase down Max Verstappen. Verstappen also is going to get stuck behind Hamilton. I'm sure there'll be no love lost between Hamilton and Verstappen. We may even see Hamilton try to block Verstappen a little bit in the hopes that his former teammate George Russell might catch up if Hamilton knows what's going on. Okay, so here we go then. Charles Leclerc is leading this race with Lando Norris in second place. He's still yet to pit. Charles Leclerc still hanging it out there on those medium tyres, and the same thing can be said for Lewis Hamilton. Okay. So here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. We have got a battle brewing. As we saw earlier in the first stint of this race, Max Verstappen is the faster driver. He was pulling away from Oscar Piastri at the end of the first stint. So now it's his time to attack and to try and overtake Piastri, hopefully not by cutting the corner into turn number 1. Okay, here we go then. Verstappen is right on Hamilton's tail, and as they go towards turn number 27, Hamilton is, in fact, he doesn't get DRS of Hamilton. Verstappen, for whatever reason, loses a little bit of time. Oh no, he does actually, never mind. Ignore what I just said. Verstappen does have DRS on Hamilton, but is it going to be enough? That's the thing. Going towards turn number 1, Verstappen has got significantly fresher tyres, but he's just a little bit too far back, and he might be stuck behind Hamilton for another lap or so. And George Russell is closing up here, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see what Russell can do. Okay, we've got a couple more drivers into the pits. Albon comes into the pit lane as well. Yeah, Hamilton being the English Minister of Defence, I'm sure that, you know, these drivers absolutely love each other. I mean, they do respect each other as drivers, but also if Hamilton has the opportunity to block Max a little bit, I'm sure he will take that opportunity. In the same way that Fernando Alonso will always give up a nice little fight once he encounters Lewis Hamilton on the track. And Verstappen tries to overtake Hamilton into 16, which is a ridiculous overtaking spot, but he backs out of it. He knows that he'll have to fight for another day, and they go now towards turn number 22, where Piastri overtook Hamilton on, I think, 2 laps ago. Let's see what Max Verstappen can do. Can he get the overtake done into 22? No, he decides not to. I think he closes DRS early, does Max, and he knows that he's going to just get the overtake done into turn number 1. That's the easiest and cleanest way to get it done. All right, we are approaching the halfway point of this race. Here comes Max Verstappen going towards turn number 22. Hamilton goes defensive. They say box to Hamilton. So Hamilton is going defensive for whatever reason. And he's coming into the pit lane at the end of this lap anyway. But Verstappen now takes that net second place. Hamilton dives into the pit lane. Piastri with a fastest lap of the race. All right, it is on, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you think is it going to be? Is it going to be Oscar Piastri winning this race? Is it going to be Max Verstappen? It is a direct 1 versus 1. It's going to be very, very interesting. Look at Norris and Piastri's time. They're not all that different. I mean, yeah, there's only a 4/10 difference between that, and that's just indicating the hard tyres really don't wear out. That's why we're seeing the drivers all do a one-stop, even though Pirelli have brought soft tyres here at the circuit. The soft tyres just aren't wearing out as expected, and because of that, we're seeing a one-stop, and the pace difference between Norris, who's on 23-lap-old hard tyres, isn't all that big compared to Piastri, who's on fresh ones. Is the undercut or the overcut more effective at Jeddah? Well, it seems like the undercut's a little bit more effective. Well, actually, they're not really all that effective, to be honest. When you have low tyre wear, neither of them are particularly effective. At Bahrain, where you have high tyre wear, the undercut's very, very powerful. The overcut is a much more situational thing, and it really depends on the way the race is shaping up. So I can't really say for certain. Okay. Oh, Carlos Sainz, we just got a replay here. Carlos Sainz making a brilliant overtake down into turn number 1. Well, fairly standard overtake actually, but round the outside he goes of Jack Doohan. Yeah, nicely done. Jack Doohan, of course, he's going for the long shot strategy. Doohan, Bortoleto, and who is it? Ocon. All 3 drivers on the long shot strategy. They pitted on lap number 1 when the safety car came out, and they're going to the end of the race on a singular set of hard tyres. That's what I'm saying. There's no tyre wear this weekend, and that's why the drivers can just do one race, the entire race on one pit, on one set of tyres. Oh, another fastest lap of the race here for not for Kimi Antonelli, for Oscar Piastri. That is up to 3 now for him. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Thank you everyone for tuning in. By the way, we've got 49,000 people tuned into the live stream. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to do that. Hopefully we can hit 150k. That would be absolutely mega. Yeah. In fact, when we hit 100k, Oscar Piastri won the race. So if we hit 150k, will Oscar Piastri win the race again? Let's wait and see. All right, Alonso misses the braking zone for turn number 1 and just stays ahead of Bortoleto. And Bortoleto is the driver that Alonso is mentoring, and Alonso gets out of the way and gives a position back to Bortoleto. Fair enough. Alonso is driving nice and fairly, and yeah, it's good to see, Alonso giving some good mentorship advice to Bortoleto. Of course, we have a lot of ex-F1 drivers. We've got Mark Webber helping out Oscar Piastri, and we've got Seb Vettel, I think, also in contact with Lando Norris. A lot of ex-Formula 1 drivers still giving their advice, and to the current drivers here. Okie dokes. It is looking good here from Piastri. The question is, though, he's putting in fastest laps of the race, but how much longer can he sustain this? It's looking good now, but we've got another 25 laps left of this race, so who knows what happens. Charles isn't pitting. Yeah, I don't know what Ferrari are doing. Ferrari doing the most. I think they're just waiting for a safety car, and they hope that something's going to happen, which means they'll get a free pit stop. That's what they ideally want, but there's no guarantee. Did Fernando and Bortoleto have contact? No, they were about to have contact, but Alonso just slit it through. Honestly, I can't even talk. Slit it through these finest of margins and threaded the needle and managed to avoid contact. Okay, and Alonso finally does get the overtake done on Bortoleto. Nice, fair and square around the outside of turn number 1. Says thank you very much. And I've still got some tricks up my sleeve. Has the driver who's been driving for more than 20 years now in Formula 1. Well, his career started more than 20 years ago. Charles is still pulling away. I mean, look at that gap for Charles Leclerc. His previous lap time, 33.5. He is so consistent, and he's on the medium tyres as well. Somehow, Charles Leclerc on the medium tyres is lapping quicker than Lando Norris, who's on the hards. By this point in the race, the medium tyres should have been destroyed. They should have fell off a cliff. He's the only driver out on a set of medium tyres, and he's continuing on strong. George Russell, purple in the middle sector here, and, well, he's going to try and close up to Max Verstappen. Piastri, of course, he's built that gap up. Now it's Verstappen's job to close it right down. Is it compulsory to pit? Indeed it is. You've got to change your set of tyres. You've got to use 2 different tyre compounds in the race. So as you can see on the screen there, we see some drivers have started the race on the medium tyres, as you can see in the second column, and some drivers started the race on the hards. The left column is the tyre that the drivers are currently on. All right. We got 50,000 people tuned into the coverage. That is absolutely fantastic. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys are enjoying, and look forward to commentating to you guys in 2 weeks time in Miami. Red Bull are bringing upgrades in Miami, and that race is going to be so close. And let's have a look at this purple first sector from Max. He is picking up the pace here, ladies and gentlemen. And, well, are we going to get a fastest lap of the race from him? Let's wait and see. Charles Leclerc, though, still going strong, a 33.3, again a 10th quicker than Norris. Incredible pace from Charles Leclerc, and his tyres are, I don't know how they're holding on, but Charles Leclerc, he is massaging those tyres like, I don't even know who massages, massaging those tyres like a professional masseuse, and they are, well, lasting super duper long. Honestly, my similes are fantastic. Massaging those tyres like a masseuse. Incredible. Okay, and yeah, look at that again, a 33.4. How does he keep doing this? Charles Leclerc, incredible. Okay, Max Verstappen in the middle sector is a yellow, doesn't improve in the middle sector. Piastri comes across the line, 32.8. Verstappen across the line, 32.9, so still a 10th back is he from Piastri. But this is the thing, when did Max Verstappen have the advantage over Piastri? In the first stint? If we look back, Verstappen didn't have that big an advantage at the start of the stint. In fact, Piastri was closer at the start of the stint, but as the tyres wore out, who was gaining more and more time? It was Max. Max was quicker once the tyres wear out. So we've still got 23 laps left to go. The gap right now is 4 seconds, but expect that to close up as the tyres start wearing out. Okay. What else have we got going on? Do you think Hamilton has a chance for a podium? Well, Hamilton's down in 8th position, unfortunately. I don't think so. I think even after Hadjar and Norris and Leclerc all pit, it's not looking all that great for Hamilton. And podium looks unlikely. So many laps, so consistent gap for Leclerc. Indeed it is. Leclerc's been doing a mega job. Honestly, if we had to have a driver of the day vote right now, it would be Charles Leclerc would for sure be my driver of the day, just for this first stint alone. Leclerc's clean air helps with the tyre a lot. It does, however, for the first, before everyone came into the pit stops, before lap number 20, he didn't have clean air, and he's had 20 laps of dirty air and 7 laps of clean air, so still very good going from Charles Leclerc. All right, track limits deletion here for Lando Norris. His extended track limits, and he's going to have to, well, keep that under control, otherwise a 5-second penalty is heading his way. And another fastest first sector here from Max Verstappen. He's driving in the first sector very, very aggressively, and he's trying to keep up with Oscar Piastri, but unable to do so, for now at least. Another personal best for Charles Leclerc. Wow. All right, Antonelli's got DRS. Antonelli's got DRS on Hadjar. Let's wait and see what he can do. Antonelli, wow, what are you pulling out for here? You're about a second back into turn number 1. I don't know what he's doing, but yeah, he'll be probably sizing up a move on the following lap. How much time is lost in the pit stop? The drivers lose around about 19 seconds of race time in a pit stop. So if Charles Leclerc comes into the pits now, that puts him in a net 5th position, just behind George Russell. Oh, sorry, not a net 5th position, net 4th position, because of course Norris is still yet to pit as well. So yeah, pretty good going really from Charles Leclerc. He started the race in 4th place. He's still in a net P4. Okie dokes. What else have we got going on the track here? Verstappen, 4.6 seconds is the gap. Let's see if he can close that gap up. Is Leclerc going to do two mediums? Two mediums isn't allowed by the FIA. You have to use two different tyre compounds, so he's going to go onto the hards most likely by the end of the race. However, if he goes onto the hards right at the end of the race, he's going to go maximum attack, like 100% attacking mode. And there's going to be no... And he's going... Oh, here we go. Into the pits he comes, Charles Leclerc. He's got 21 laps after this race. He's going to pit onto a set of hard tyres, and he is going to go all-out attack and try to overtake George Russell, because this is the thing. He's got an 8-lap tyre difference now to George Russell. Russell's tyres are 8 laps older, so that is a big enough tyre difference for Leclerc to catch up to the back of Russell and to potentially make an overtake. So as he comes out of the pits, he is a couple seconds back from Russell, and he's going to go into full attack mode. Here comes Antonelli trying to get past Isaac Hadjar into turn number 1. He goes very, very late on the brakes, is Antonelli. Isaac Hadjar doesn't fight it too much. He's been on those hard tyres for about 30 laps now. He knows that he's got to make this stint last. All right, we've got Stroll still out on the hard tyres, doing a good job there. And we've got Hülkenberg as well on those hards. He's up 6 positions, but of course, once he comes into the pits, he's going to drop back down a bit as well. Okie doke. Okie doke, okie dokes. So Lando Norris is in the lead of this race. However, he's still yet to come into the pits. When he does come into the pits, eventually he'll be out behind Leclerc. So it'll still be a good recovery. You know, he'll be in to 6th position. Sizable recovery. Oh no, sorry, not 6th position, 5th position. Sorry. So you know, up from 10th up into 5th. Good job there. But however, if he wants to compete for a championship, he's got to get right up to the top, because the points gap is so small. He's only leading the championship by 3 points as of now, and you know, as we saw in 2021, every single point counts. And well, he'll look back to this occasion, he'll be like, oh, I shouldn't have crashed in quali, I should have probably been up in 3rd position or something like that. Why not go on softs? Would they not last 20 laps? No, they would not. The soft tyres are the C5s. They're only really good for qualifying. Even 1 lap of quali, they start to overheat. So yeah, definitely not a good race tyre. Okay. And Verstappen now, finally, the tables have turned. As I said before, Verstappen was slower at the start of the stint and is quicker at the end of the stint. On this occasion, he now goes a 10th quicker than Piastri. Sooner or later, he's going to start to reel Oscar Piastri in. And, well, it's looking good now. It's looking good. We've got a battle going on between Carlos Sainz and Lance Stroll. Sainz has got the DRS, the slipstream, sends one to the inside. Thank you very much. And Stroll does not fight this one because, you know, Sainz is on 20-lap fresher tyres. But Stroll is, still hanging on there with those hards. Lando purple first sector on those. Yeah, I don't know how he's done that. Purple first sector on 30-lap old hard tyres. This is what I'm saying. We've got absolutely no tyre degradation here. Firstly, Norris is doing a good job managing his tyres. But secondly, how has he done that? 30-lap old hards. I mean, that's also an indication that everyone else isn't pushing all that hard. Everyone else is also in tyre conservation mode. So sooner or later, once they switch off tyre conservation mode and start all-out attacking, like Charles Leclerc is, he's going to start closing that gap up to George Russell very, very quickly. Has Hadjar not pit? No, as you can see on the screen there, anyone that hasn't got 2 tyres next to their name, they still haven't come into the pits. So Hülkenberg, Stroll, Hadjar and Norris all yet to come into the pit lane. Oh, Charles Leclerc, fastest lap of the race. As I was saying, he's out on the hard tyres and he is going maximum attack. Right, let me update the fastest lap counter there. It is looking good for Charles Leclerc. All right, we are here on lap number 32. I do have to mention this, folks. I'm sponsored by Surfshark VPN. If you guys want to watch Formula 1, like with all of the coverage and all of the camera angles and all of that stuff, then you can get Surfshark VPN. Download it using the link in the description. And then what you can do is connect to an Austrian VPN server, search ORF into Google, and once you search that up, you can watch Formula 1 for free because it's free to air in Austria. You just need a VPN, and Surfshark VPN has got you covered. All right, so yeah, that's the VPN. And the other thing is I'm running a giveaway. So if you guys subscribe to the channel and type one message into the chat, then you're entered into the giveaway. If you're in the chat for 3 race streams in a row, then you have a chance to win the Surfshark membership for a year. Yeah. Okie dokes, and we're getting pretty close to 150k here, ladies and gents. We are, what, 489 subs away. So if you haven't hit the like button, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. Okie dokes, so that's all of the random necessary stuff out of the way. We have got a battle brewing. Charles Leclerc in 3 laps time is going to approach George Russell, and we are going to have a battle for 4th place, and it's going to be a net 3rd place. Can Charles Leclerc get that Ferrari up onto the podium? Let's wait and see. Okie dokes, and is that another fastest lap for Leclerc? Indeed it is. He comes across the line and another one. He's just, well, as I said, those hard tyres are going to take a beating, but he's only got to drive 20 laps on them. Norris is still hanging it out on those hards. You know what he's waiting for? He's waiting for a safety car, because if the safety car comes out, he goes up into 3rd place. He'll come into the pits when the safety car's out, and Lando Norris will get 3rd position. No battling, nothing required. He just needs a nicely timed safety car. Verstappen, purple in the 1st sector. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The fight is on. Leclerc versus Russell, and Verstappen versus Piastri. Oh, and also, may I point out here, if Verstappen does get close to Piastri and Norris still hasn't come into the pits, shall I tell you what they're going to do? They're going to deploy Lando Norris as a moving chicane. They're just going to be like, time to block Max Verstappen. Oh, let's just drive really slowly through the 1st sector here. My tyres have gone off, you know, so that's why I'm driving slowly, not to block you on purpose, Max. That's probably what's going to happen. And Piastri is closing that gap up to his teammate. 2.5 seconds is a gap up at the front. So we shall wait and see what happens as Max Verstappen closes that gap. Okie dokes. Hey, F1 Gamer, I think you're the best streamer. I really do appreciate you taking time out your day to do this. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, you know. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the coverage. We're on our way to a record-breaking stream, so if you could just hit the like button, then, you know, we can break some more records for the channel, which is incredible. The gap's not closing. Yeah, it's a purple 1st sector, and then in the second and 3rd sector, he loses all of that time again. So I don't know what's going on there with Max. Leclerc, however, he is closing up a little bit. Slowly but surely, he's taking time out of Russell, and he's in the driving seat here, trying to get that podium. Once Norris comes into the pits, it'll be a net 3rd place. Why isn't Norris pitting? Norris is just holding it out here. We've seen over the radio that they've said that Lando is going +4 over the target, and then they're just going over the radio to Piastri. As you can see here on the top radio message, Lando will pit in a couple of laps. Don't use the tyre to catch him. So Lando Norris should be pitting in the next couple of laps. If there is a safety car, then who knows what will happen. But however, to cause a safety car, you're going to need a battle, you know. And the only battle gone on track right now, Esteban Ocon versus Fernando Alonso. Let's wait and see what happens as they go through the pit stop crew are getting the tyres ready here for Lando Norris. Box is the radio message, and is he coming into the pits, or is that going to be on the next lap? Here he comes towards the pit lane entry, and he hits the brakes, hits the pit limiter, and Lando Norris approaches the pit lane, locks up a little bit as well. And George Russell, purple in the middle sector here, he's picking that pace up. He knows he can't be caught by Charles Leclerc, and it's a quick pit stop there for Lando Norris. He comes out of the pits, 2.6 seconds for him, and he's out on the medium tyres. Our race leader is Oscar Piastri. Looking good here, looking good. All right. I would like to point out here, ladies and gentlemen, so far in the season, every driver that has got pole position has gone on to win the race. This might just change here with Piastri up in 1st place. Verstappen has closed the gap by 0.3 of a second. We've still got 16 laps left to go, so let's hold on and let's not get too excited. But Piastri could break that little curse that we've had of the driver from pole just going on to win the race every time. Do you think Lando can get a podium after pitting? Well, let's have a look. He's out on a set of medium tyres. Charles Leclerc out of him. He's out on a set of hards. However, as we know, the tyre wear isn't all that high. So Leclerc's still got pace in those tyres. So it's going to be tough. Leclerc is going to fight this one tooth and nail. And also, Norris has got to close a 5.5 second gap. So he's got a lot of work to do if he's going to catch up to Leclerc and Russell to try and get a podium. Leclerc, however, that gap was 1.9. It's now down to 1.5. Here we go then. Let's see if he can get that move done. All right, we've got 52,000 people tuning into live stream. That is fantastic. We're getting very, very close to 150k subscribers here, ladies and gents. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. It would be fantastic to hit 150k and we get another Piastri win. What do you type in for F1? With Google with the VPN, you search ORF, O for Oscar, R for Race, F for Ferrari, and you make an account, you log in, and then you get to watch Formula 1 for only $2 a month. If you guys are interested, the link is in the description. Another fastest lap of the race here for Charles Leclerc. He is a man on a mission. That gap, 1.1 seconds. Oh, this is getting spicy. All right, ladies and gents, who do you think is it going to be? Who's going to get that third place spot? Is it going to be Russell? Is it going to be Leclerc? Or is it going to be when those two drivers start squabbling, Lando Norris just approaches them with a fresh set of medium tyres and says, thank you very much, boys, and I'll take that third place off you. What do you think it's going to be? I'm going to go with... I think Leclerc's going to do it. I think the Ferrari may not have the top speed advantage, but Charles Leclerc is a man on a mission. He has been extracting so much pace out of the car in qualifying. There was nothing left. He was all on the ragged edge. And, you know, his lap didn't get noticed because he didn't get pole position, but he has been driving that Ferrari superbly, and I think that he deserves a podium. I don't think Ferrari have scored a podium so far. If you don't count the sprint race that Hamilton won, I don't think Ferrari have scored a podium this season. So we have got Charles Leclerc looking to score the first podium for Ferrari. At least I think it's the first podium. Let me just double check the race standings. Yeah. Ferrari haven't got a podium. Okie dokes. All right, and Max Verstappen looking to close that gap. It's 4.6 seconds is the gap. Lando Norris, purple in the middle sector, is trying to catch up to Charles Leclerc. Let's see what happens. George is pretty good at defending here, and we know George Russell, he's missed a Saturday, but Charles Leclerc has just got within DRS range here. 9/10 is the gap. If he can hold it through the first sector, then, I mean, that bodes very, very well for him. We've seen Piastri struggle through the first sector as he was trying to overtake Verstappen in the first stint, and let's keep an eye on this gap. It's 8.8. And as he makes his way through the first sector, he's within DRS. Leclerc still got the pace through the first sector, even with the dirty air. He's managing to keep it right behind George Russell. Oh, this is going to get interesting. Max Verstappen got a 5-second time penalty because he cut the corner at turn number 1. So yeah, that's what happened there. You keep saying Max is getting close, but the gap's always 4.5. Yeah, I think, you know, Max keeps on getting the first sector, I think, and he closes up and then he drops back again. So I don't know what's going on, but we've still got 14 laps after this race, and Max can definitely close that gap up. All right, we've got a black and white flag for Bortoleto for moving under braking, so we'll see what happens there. Charles Leclerc, he's got the DRS, he's got the slipstream now going towards turn number 27. He is tucked into that slipstream, and George Russell's battery's recharging. Russell hasn't got enough battery in his car, and Charles Leclerc is going to now press K1 to overtake, and you can see the DRS button, you can see the K1 button. George Russell moves to the inside line. Charles Leclerc goes to the outside. Super late on the brakes for Charles Leclerc, and he just gets ahead. What a move here from Charles. And Russell's going to try and fight this one back now. It's so key for him. He has to stay within 1 second through the first sector. It's going to be tough, but if he wants that third place, he's got to do that. He's got to fight. Lando Norris with the fastest lap of the race. Let me just update that on the counter, and it looks like Russell might even lose the position to Norris at the rate that Norris is catching up at, and Russell has lost, look at that, the gap up to 1.2 seconds. Russell doesn't have the pace through the first sector, and yeah, is not great there, right? He says, well done, Charles, over the radio, and Charles says, thank you, Brian. So Charles is happy there. Third place for him. And we've got Oscar Piastri up in the lead of this race. 4.6 seconds is the gap. We'll see if Verstappen can close up. But Lando Norris now, all eyes on him. He's going to try and catch up to his fellow Brit. They joined Formula 1 back in 2019. Best bros from Formula 2. And Russell, of course, was in that Williams, honed his qualifying skills, and then moved up to the Mercedes team. Lando Norris has been in McLaren all along. And both the drivers fighting away. Lance is waiting for a safety car. Indeed he is. Look at this. 38 laps for Lance Stroll on those hard tyres. And also, I'd like to point out Ocon, Bortoleto, and who was the other driver? Who was it? Ocon, Bortoletto, and Doohan. Doohan tried to do the long shot one pit stop strategy. It didn't work out for him. Bortoletto and Ocon pitted on lap number 1. They've been going since lap 1 on these tyres, and well, they're trying to make it to the end of the race. They're not doing a half bad job, but they are still out of the points because we've just got such a competitive field here. All right, Norris is closing up to Russell now. 2.0 seconds is the gap, and on that previous lap, he gained a huge amount of time. Russell not so great on the previous lap. Look at this purple first sector again for Verstappen. So he gets a purple first sector. Leclerc takes it away from him this time. But nonetheless, Verstappen, close up to Piastri, please. Mad Max, you were so quick yesterday. What's going on here? Oh, Piastri just reported there's a red flashing light somewhere on a balcony, which looks like a red flag. So yeah, clearly something going wrong there. I'm sure the Saudi Arabia race control will figure that one out. Alonso gets ahead of Lance Stroll there. Alonso, of course, he's on his he's done his pit stop. Stroll still hasn't. When Stroll comes out of the pit stop, he's going to come out in dead last, I think. Yeah, dead last position for Lance Stroll. He's done 39 laps on those hards, but if the safety car doesn't come out, he's going to come out in last position. Okay, and that gap, 4.8 seconds. Piastri is doing a sensational job up in the lead of this race, and it looks like we've got a battle for 4th place approaching very, very soon. Lando Norris, the gap was previously 2 seconds, it's down to 1.2 seconds, and Norris, I think on the next lap, is going to be sizing up a move against his fellow Brit, George Russell. We've got Albon and Sainz battling away in 8th position. Hopefully they don't drive into each other, and we've got Hadjar as well in the points. Hadjar ahead of Lawson. Lawson, in fact, started higher up, but Hadjar's gained more places throughout the race, which is very nice for him. Purple first sector here for Leclerc, and yeah, he's not closing up to Max, and the gap is 7 seconds, so I don't think that's going to happen. Do you think Lando can get a podium after pitting? Yeah, well, I think Lando's not going to come into the pits again. I think he's right on the tail of George Russell, as you can see, and it looks like he might get this position. Look at 8th to 17th, all team by team. It is pretty much, isn't it? 8th to 17th is we've got the Williams, then we've got the V-Carbs and the Aston Martins and the Hasses, and then and Stroll's just ruined it. Oh, come on, Stroll. And then they said swap the positions for the Haas team. Behrman gets ahead of Ocon, and I think that's fair enough. Behrman's on 21 lap old tyres. Ocon's on 38 lap old tyres. They might as well let Behrman try and attack Fernando Alonso with 11 laps left to go. And here comes Lando Norris now towards turn number 27. He's got the DRS, he's got the slipstream. He's not going to make the same mistake he made with Lewis Hamilton of overtaking into 27. He gets the late apex, the good exit. George Russell squirming a little as he gets onto the power, and that's really not going to help him out. Norris with the slipstream, with the DRS, he just cruises by Russell. Russell doesn't even fight it into turn number 1, not even late on the brakes. Just a standard overtake for him. Oh, folks, we are 3 subscribers away from 150k. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to do so. 2 subscribers, 1, and there we go, I think. Boom, we've hit 150k. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And honestly, it's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. We're approaching another live stream record here, and incredible. The channel started five years and 1 week ago. That was my first video, and since then we've hit 150k, which is incredible to think of. I mean, I started out thinking, oh, maybe we'd hit 10k subs or 100 subs or whatever, and the way that it keeps growing is mind-blowing. Thank you so much. I'd have to give a big shout out to my channel members as well. I'm just going to have their names scroll across the bottom of the screen. All of the channel members go help out a lot. I mean, they're the reason, I've got a good laptop here, a good professional microphone to commentate with. Lando Norris is purple in the first sector, purple in the second sector. Looking good is Lando Norris. Of course, he got to catch up to Charles Leclerc with 10 laps left to go. It's possible, actually. Norris could catch up to Leclerc here. So let's keep an eye on him. But yeah, 150k. Thank you everyone for helping out the channel, watching the coverage. I hope that you're enjoying. The race hasn't been the most exciting. We haven't had a battle for the lead, but in Miami, when Red Bull bring upgrades, they are going to be, they're going to be quicker, and we have a sprint race planned as well. So Piastri versus Verstappen in the sprint is going to be mega. Lando has to do 4 seconds in 10 laps. Yeah, I mean, he's done it before, and he's out on medium tyres. Leclerc's out on hards, so let's keep an eye out on him. I think that's another fastest lap for Norris. Let me increase that counter there for him. Thank you everyone for tuning in, by the way. And yeah, once again, if you guys are interested in getting Surfshark VPN with all of the to watch all of the coverage for only $2 a month, there's a link in the description. Okay. Blue flags for Stroll indeed. Stroll has finally come into the pits after doing 40 laps on a set of hard tyres. He's decided that the safety car isn't coming out, and he comes into the pit lane for a set of tyres. He's out in 17th place. And yeah, we're getting blue flags now. Piastri's lap doing his lap Stroll, and yeah, we've got 9 laps after this race. What happened with Yuki? Yuki and Gasly crashed on the opening lap, just at turn number 4. They crashed into each other, and they both DNF'd from the race. Okay. Yeah. Do you think Lando can get a podium? I think he can. I think, look at that gap. He's closed up 0.4 of a second. Ooh, we've got a replay here. Safety car line pit lane exit infringement. It looks like Norris may have crossed the pit lane exit line. Oh, no, no, no. There's a 10-second time penalty for Lawson for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. So even if he does get up into 10th place, he's not scoring points. And Lando, by the looks of it, when he came in for his pit stop, he accidentally crossed the pit exit line by like the finest of margins. So I think he's going to be under investigation for that. Yeah, it's incident has been noted. Once it gets noted, it goes under investigation, and we'll see what happens there. But, you know, he crossed the pit lane exit line, which is another little mistake that creeps in. And if you're in a championship battle, this can't be happening, Norris. This can't be happening. So we'll see what the race control have got to say. We've got 8 laps after this race, and Norris is still going to try and get 3rd position on the road anyway. Okay. If the safety car came in now, who would benefit? Well, I don't know, actually. It would just close everyone up, wouldn't it? So everyone's done their pit stop, so I don't think anyone would really benefit. Maybe the medium tyre runners, they would probably stay out. They wouldn't pit in for a fresh set of softs or anything. They'll just stay out. So probably the medium tyre runners, they'd benefit. Okay, and yeah, he closes that gap. 3.3 seconds is the gap. It's not enough. The margin has to be, he's got to gain more time on Leclerc. And, it's under investigation now. Oh, no, no further investigation. No further investigation for Lando Norris, failing to follow the race director's instructions for crossing the line at pit exit. So I guess the thing was, you know, because obviously you're driving over the line with your tyre. His tyre touched the line, but I don't think his entire wheel, like his entire tyre, actually went over the line. He just drove over it. So I think Lando Norris gets away with it. But of course, he'll be told what in the race debrief, don't do that again. Be very careful, otherwise you will get a penalty. Right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, otherwise my throat is really going to start to hurt. We've got 55,600 people tuned into the live stream. We are, 400 people away from breaking the live stream record that we hit last stream. So, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. We are, looking to get a finale battle between Leclerc and Norris. Let's see. I do have to point out, you know, we're thinking here Norris has got to close the gap up to Leclerc to 3 seconds, but really he only has to close the gap 2 seconds, and then once he gets within DRS range, it makes it so much easier. So right now, his focus, 7 laps after this race, he's got, 2 seconds to catch up to get within DRS range. If he's within DRS range, then, you know, he's golden, really. So a battle for the podium in the final stages of this race. And Verstappen is closing up here. Oh my God, Verstappen. Actually, no, never mind. I didn't know. I misread the lap times there. But Verstappen, the gap down to 4 seconds. It was previously, I think, 4.8 or something. So he's closed it up a little bit. But we'll keep an eye out on that. We've only got 6 laps after this race. So he's going to need some big mistakes from Piastri if Verstappen's going to lead this one. Okay. Here we go then. I want to hear you say, Oscar, well, we're only 6 short laps away from the race finishing, and then I will be shouting at the top of my lungs for when one of the drivers comes across the finish line first. We'll wait and see who it is. But Verstappen, look at that gap. It's down to 3.7. He's closing it up rapidly. I don't know how he's doing it, but he's just took 3/10 out of Piastri on the final lap here. Max Verstappen coming for a final surge to try and get ahead of his rival. Okay, and of course there's a bit of traffic that isn't helping the situation. Stroll is, should be getting blue flags. He should move out the way, but we'll see how that works out. And Verstappen is, he's going to try and catch up. While Piastri's stuck behind Stroll, this is prime time now for Verstappen to catch up. Yeah, all right. Leclerc has Doohan getting out of the way. He's got a bit of traffic there as well. So Norris now closes the gap up to 2.3 seconds. If Doohan gets out of the way nicely for Norris, then that could really help him out, because I don't think Doohan got out in a favourable position for Charles Leclerc. And yeah, that gap, which was 3 seconds, down to 1.9. And here we go then. We're approaching the final stages of this race. Look, Charles Leclerc is not going to give this one up easily. He's on 15-lap-old hard tyres, which are relatively new for hard tyres. And as we saw in the first stint, he was massaging these tyres like crazy. These tyres have not worn out, to be honest. I think he's saving his pace, so once Norris starts to attack him, he's got some relatively fresh tyres to go head to head. Yeah, Piastri over the radio saying, man, he needs to get out of the way. And still Piastri stuck behind Stroll here. Verstappen is closing up the gap down to 3.3. Stroll isn't getting out of the way. And Piastri is complaining about blue flags. Ooh. Okay. Has Max served his penalty? Indeed he has. So right now, any battle that goes on, it is for position. Charles Leclerc, 1.8 seconds ahead of Lando Norris. We've got a battle brewing for third place and a potential battle for first position. We've got 57,000 people tuning into the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This is once again breaking a channel record. We've hit 150k. We're breaking records. Thank you everyone. And once again, I do have to mention, if you guys do want Surfshark VPN, I'm also running a giveaway if you guys don't want to buy it. All you've got to do is subscribe to the channel and type one message into the chat, and you automatically get entered into the giveaway. And yeah, all you got to do is type one message. Typing multiple messages doesn't help you out. And once again, thank you to all of the channel members whose names have just scrolled across the bottom of the screen. You guys are, absolute beasts. Lance Stroll here finally gets out of the way. Piastri gets ahead of Stroll. He also gets ahead of Bortoleto, and Stroll and Bortoleto still battling. So yeah, they're battling away, and Verstappen, if Verstappen, doesn't lose any time getting past these guys, then that could help him out in the net race situation. But we'll wait and see. I don't think Stroll and Bortoleto are going to get out of the way particularly quickly. It took them about 4 laps to get out of the way for Piastri. Okay, and here comes Lando Norris. We've got 4 laps left of this race. 1.8 seconds is the gap between him and Leclerc. His medium tyres, he's done 12 laps on them. They're reaching towards the end of this lap. The first stint, most drivers did 20 laps on their medium tyres, so he's not got too much tyre life left in these tyres, and he's got to throw absolutely everything he's got at this one. Okay. Albon and Sainz still battling away. And, it's a miracle they haven't collided into each other. But, one thing that we know for certain now, previously we thought, Alex Albon, how quick of a driver really is he? And the answer that we've got right here, he's about as quick as Carlos Sainz, which is a fantastically quick driver, to be honest. So I think Albon has proven himself as a quick driver. Previously he was going up against Logan Sargent, not the best of drivers. So finally now he's got himself a good benchmark, and he's doing a brilliant job against his teammate. The Williams team are on the up, and I think good things are on their way for 2026 for Williams. Okay. Also, who's your driver of the day, ladies and gents? Who would that be? I think Lando Norris has done a fantastic job gaining up 6 positions. Beckett Joas, thank you for joining the channel member. Thank you for joining the race win. It's very much appreciated. And yeah, Piastri is, if Piastri comes across the line in this position, he's going to be leading the championship here. He's only 3 points behind Lando Norris as of now. If everyone comes across the line in this position, Piastri leads the race, leads the championship. Oh, Russell comes over the radio. Front left, not looking good at all. Do you have any concerns about getting to the end? I've got a band on the inside shoulder. It's opening. Russell could potentially have a puncture. That's what he's saying over the radio. He's done 27 laps on those hard tyres. So, yeah, not ideal. And, he's got a big gap ahead of him, big gap behind him. It's not too much of a concern. But, yeah, if he gets a puncture, then that could be bad news for him. Okay. Oh, 59,000 people tuning into live stream. That is incredible. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage, and hope to see you guys around for the next stream. We have a race in 2 weeks' time in Miami. It's going to be absolutely fantastic because the Red Bulls are going to have some upgrades. So that's going to, make the battle even closer. Right now, after 50 laps of racing, they've done 300 kilometers of racing, right? And the gap between Piastri and Verstappen, 3 seconds. 3 seconds. It is so close. And with those upgrades, Verstappen should have the final little edge to battle with the McLarens. And, we're going to get a brilliant fight in Miami. Miami's got loads of long DRS straights as well, so we should have some great fights. Okay, here we are, lap number 49 of 50. Lando Norris, he's got 2 laps left to go, 12 kilometers of racing left for him. He's got to close that gap. It's 1.3 seconds. We could be on our way for a final last lap battle here. And, this is going to be mega. Oscar Piastri's got Hulkenberg ahead for traffic, but I don't think it's going to be enough. With 2 laps left to go, I don't think Verstappen is going to close that 3-second gap. All right, here we go then. Lando Norris darting through the middle sector, pushing so hard. And look at that gap. It's crawling down a little bit, 1.3 seconds. All he has to do, a little bit of overtake, a little bit of slipstream. That's all he needs. And then he gets within DRS range here. And Oscar Piastri comes out of turn number 27 for the penultimate time in this race. Here we are on lap number 49 of 50. Piastri comes across the line of 132.9 from him. We are on the last lap of the race here, ladies and gentlemen. 2.6 seconds is the gap between Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc in third place. He has done a personal best lap time. He still has more pace left in those tyres. That's why Norris can't close up, because Charles Leclerc has been massaging his tyres like a masseuse, and, simply lovely from him, to be honest. All right, George Russell in 5th place. His tyres are still hanging on. He hasn't got a puncture just yet. The inside band is looking like it's opening up according to his radio message, but he's going to hold on for one more lap. Sainz and Albon still battling away. Hadjar holds it in 10th position, and Hamilton is around about. Look at that gap. Hamilton is 30 seconds behind his teammate at the end of this race. It's not looking good there for Lewis Hamilton. He's got a lot of work to do in the simulator if he's going to get close. All right, here we go then. Final lap of the race. Can Lando Norris close it up? Charles Leclerc, all he's got to do, he's got 3 kilometers, 2 kilometers left now. He's just got to keep this Ferrari on the road. Purple middle sector from Piastri. Piastri's still got pace here. Absolutely sensational. All right, here comes Oscar Piastri, comes towards turn number 27 for the final time. Oscar Piastri, the man from down under, he has got 50 race starts to his name. He comes out of the final corner, cool, calm, collected. He has got championship winning material in him. He comes out of the final corner to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. What a drive from Piastri, and it is second place for Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc in third place with a sensational drive on his tyres. 30 laps on medium tyres is mind-blowing. Norris recovers up into 4th. Russell in 5th position. Antonelli in 6th. And Hamilton in 7th place. I don't know why I said Abu Dhabi. I said championship winning material, and I was like, right, Oscar Piastri's won the championship. Yeah, no, but a sensational drive from Piastri, and we've just seen the radio message here. Woohoo, yeah, well done. It was a little bit more difficult than I hoped, and the car was great. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic from Oscar Piastri. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the live stream. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. We're about to hit 151k subs here. Once again, I would like to mention, if you guys want Surfshark VPN, you can watch the entire Miami Grand Prix and the rest of the season for $2 a month, which is incredible. Yeah, and that is, all you got to do is join the Austrian VPN server and search ORF. That has been a mega race, this one, and we're going to have a fantastic race in Miami in 2 weeks' time, ladies and gentlemen. 2 weeks' time. I will see you then. So, sensational drive from Piastri, and honestly, I don't know how I messed up that final race. He wins in Yabba Dabba. What? I totally screwed that up. But anyway, it's been a pleasure commentating to you guys, and I hope to see you guys in 2 weeks' time for the Miami Grand Prix. Once this stream finishes, it will take you over to the Miami stream. If you could just hit the like button and the notify me button, it'll send you a reminder for when the stream goes live. And that's about it from me here, ladies and gents. So, a sensational drive, and Oscar Piastri is looking to be a championship rival. He leads the championship coming out of this race. Looking good. So thank you, everyone. And if you could just hit the notify me button for the stream for the Miami stream, it really helps the YouTube algorithm. Like, I don't know why, but the algorithm just loves it when you press the notify me button. So yeah, that is that. And see you in 2 weeks' time for the race in Miami. Bye-bye.